Network. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and as always, leave a comment, and thank you for enjoying the video.
Shot to right, slicing toward the pesky pole down the line. He's going to be out of here. Line down the right field line toward the pesky pole. Leaping up, and that ball is gone. That's a home run. A lot of our Nesson team as well. High fly down the right field line, headed toward the pesky pole. That one tucked in, and that ball is going to be against the wall and into second base. Number retired, and now Rafael Devers trying to retire that baseball inside the pesky pole.
Welcome to another episode of the Pesky Podcast. I am your host, Rit, and we are brought to you today, of course, from BSEN. And with me is my co-host, the OG, George Sutherland. And with us, we have got the modern-day Viking. He is in the minor league system for our Boston Red Sox. You might know him from throwing the pitches, but I know him from grinding some axes. We've got Theo Denlinger. Theo, what's going on, man? How you been doing?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm doing pretty good. First off, it's a busy off season. I want to throw out on behalf of BSEN and the Pesky Podcast, congratulations on the amazing wedding that you had about a month ago.
Thank you.
I want to sit there and say I'm not married yet myself, but George can definitely attest to this. One thing to always remember: happy wife, happy life.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, you always got to keep them happy, and then they keep you happy in return. So it's always a give and take.
So, but Theo, man, it's been kind of a long off season for most, but not for you, because you stay hella busy, where you're at pretty much right now in the shop, in the blacksmithing forge of the Denlinger Forge right there. So, man, what's been going on? What items you've been working on, and what hot sellers do we have? And before you answer, Theo, I'm going to slap up any time you guys see any of these items right here over on Instagram, hit this man up. Great items. You can sit there and get anything you see. I kind of sound like I'm on the Home Shopping Network now. Order yours now. So, but yeah. So what have you been working on, Theo?
We got insane projects coming out. So we got the good old fashioned buck knife. That's the hot seller out of the Denlinger Forge. So we got the buck knife here, and then we got the railroad spike knives. Those are always a good seller there too. And yeah, this just came right off the railroad track. Forged it down, and then I'll show you. So that's an original railroad spike knife. And then what we do is we forge down the spine right here, get it to the blade shape we want, and then we grind it down, and we also extend the handle here. And then so this comes straight off the train tracks and into the forge. And then we got some more crazy projects here. So here's a kukri. This is actually made out of a saw blade. So as you can see here on the spine, we still got some of the saw blade there. And then I call this the Viking axe. So same thing. This is made out of the same saw blade. So you got the saw blade there, and then this is a cow femur. I just had one of my buddies that farms. They got a lot of cows, so he just walked out. They had a dead heifer in the field, so he went out, harvested the leg, and got it to me. So if you guys ever need cow femurs, I got a cow femur guy. So and then here's another project we got. I call this the sunflower cleaver. Nice big boy for you there. And then the newest creation, I showed this on the Pesky Podcast last time, the great axe. And this is actually a barbell jack for deadlifting. And I'll be posting about this and who it's going to probably within the week. So yeah, just check out my my Instagram at Theo Denlinger or at Denlinger_Forge, and you guys can see all my creations and keep up with me on there on what I'm making, and then also the baseball season, how that's going for me.
I think we're having some small technical difficulties. I can't hear Theo. Can you, George?
Yes, I can. Yep. I'm good. Oops. Okay. There we go. You good? You good, Rick?
Yeah. Got me back?
Yeah. No, it was just me. My headphones went dead for some reason. I have no idea why.
Yeah, and also thanks to the Pesky Podcast for making me my very own shirt. Yeah, so the Viking, and then I don't know if you guys will be able to see the back. Yeah. So there's the back for you. But yeah, I really appreciate that. So an incredible shirt here, and it really brings to life the essence and the mannerism and the nickname I want to go with, the Viking. So yeah, thank you guys for that.
Oh no, I sit there and like Theo, like you and I went back and forth. It had to be for like what, almost a month, pretty much.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And it was awesome how, where I would throw something at you and you'd be like, okay, looks good, but how about we change the lettering? And, and you always apologize. And I'm like, dude, this is your shirt, your brand, you're wearing it. We're just helping you bring it to life. And, man, I sit there and love, and I told you this a million times, being able to work with you hand in hand. Like, we want to work with a lot of the Red Sox players, to be able to come up with a great shirt that you guys can wear and you guys are proud to wear. And I'm going to throw up, promo code Viking on our website for 20% off, your order, just because it's Theo Denlinger, and it's not just for his shirt. It's going to be a 20% off across the whole website for Theo being one hell of a guy and helping us come up with a great shirt. Because George and I all the time we be throwing ideas back and forth. We have one in the works for for when he comes up to Boston, the new mayor of Boston, Marcelo Meyer. And then, we that young kid that's on fire, Roman Anthony, joined the Roman Empire. I have so many shirt ideas, and man, it's just, I love being able to work with you guys, and it's just seeing you happy and satisfied with the end result was, amazing.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Working with you guys was incredible because like you said, I was like, hey, like maybe we could change some lettering here, some wording, change the font, change the Viking on the front. And you guys worked with me every step of the way, and you guys were incredible with that. And yeah, so I mean, you guys, anything I wanted, just the lettering or whatever, you guys are like, yeah, I'll send it out like the next day. We'll get it done for you guys. So yeah, that was really cool. That was really awesome.
So George, any questions?
No, when you were going through all your latest projects, I'm thinking, where do you get some of the ideas to do this? I mean, there's some really cool stuff there.
Yeah. So obviously a lot of it is inspired from like the Nordic traditions, Nordic whatever. And then most of the time, I don't know, I just see something on TV, or honestly, most of the time I just kind of start working with the metal, and the metal really tells you what it wants to do. So like with this railroad spike knife, we got it forged down here. We extended the handle a little bit. And then as you're forging the metal just kind of like warps and shapes in the way you want it to, but then it can also go askew or awry in different areas. So you just kind of gotta work with what the metal wants to do. So most of the time, the metal really tells you like, hey, I kind of want to be a drop point, or more of a Bowie knife, or a kukri, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So obviously with this one, it had to be more kukri shaped, and I don't know if this might be I'm talking way above your guys' head with the blacksmith terminology. But so this had to be more of a kukri shape, and the kukri shape is, it kind of has that round to it, more like a chopper. So this wouldn't be like the best for slicing. Slicing, you want to have more of a straight edge, if not like curved up. So this would be more of a chopper. And the metal told me, it wanted to be a kukri because it came from a saw blade, and obviously saw blades are circular. So you can't make like a straight or even looped up knife with, a saw blade, because the metal only goes one way. And you can try and get it to go the other way, but that's extremely difficult. So most of the time it's me working with the metal instead of against the metal.
Thinking about it, Theo, with you blacksmithing and working with metal, it's got a lot of similarities with pitching in baseball, with a baseball, because you might want it to go, you might want to throw a slider on the outside, but if you didn't get it just right, it might go up a little bit in the zone, it might go down a little bit in the zone, or it might go out of the zone altogether. So, it's love how, you take two things that you love doing, but they have similarities so much.
Oh yeah, completely. So exactly like with what you're saying, if I want the blade to look a certain way, just like you said, like I want to throw a slider down in the zone, 0-2, strike the guy out, but it hangs a little bit and gets taken out of the park, let's say. That's kind of the same thing with a blade. Like you could want it to go a certain direction, and if you try and force it too much in that direction, it's gonna snap, or it's not gonna take shape, or it's gonna bend or warp in a way you didn't want. So you definitely have to work with the metal and not really force it into a way that it doesn't really want to go. There's sometimes that you do have to force it into a way that it doesn't want to go. Just like with baseball, you got to just sometimes you got to force it down in the zone, and sometimes you got to forge it the way you want it to. But most of the time it helps if you go with what the catcher wants, or what the metal wants.
George?
Yeah. So talk about the rest of your off season. I mean, congratulations, you get married. You've obviously taken your blacksmithing to a whole other level with some of the new projects you brought on. So, talk about the rest of your off season, and, how you're going to have to report down to Florida soon. Talk about, what your off season's been like in terms of pitching preparations.
Yeah. In terms of pitching preparations, I've been working out at the local college here in town, the University of Dubuque, out of Dubuque, Iowa. So I live on the Wisconsin side of the river, and then all I got to do is just drive about 20 minutes, and I get to Dubuque, Iowa, which is across the river on the Iowa side. And then I go and train at the University of Dubuque there with my pitching coach, Andrew Redmond, who is just incredible, knows numbers and pitching like the back of his hand. So me and him have been working really hard this off season to perfect my craft. And really to help me get back to spring training and just kick down the door and be like, what, if you guys want to put me in AAA, that's fine, but I'm going to come in and make sure you guys want to put me in the big leagues. So we've been working really hard there. We've been really perfecting my cutter, and then obviously I got the four seam, and I used to have a curveball, but it was kind of loopy and popped out of the hand. So my pitching coach, Andrew Redmond, suggested that we maybe go with the slider to counteract that. And it's come a long ways, and it's looking really good. And then I just recently did add a splitter to my mix as well. And we've been working real hard this off season. Been going 6, sometimes 7 days a week if we need to, but not keeping it too intense, where I'm getting bogged down, and just getting after it as much as I can, and getting ready and preparing for spring training.
Excellent.
So you said that the curveball was a little loopy, so you went for a slider. How's the grip feel, and how's the release coming out, with the slider compared to your curveball?
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know tunneling. But all the pitchers and anybody that understands pitching a little bit, when I say tunneling, they know, like, So what you want is you want your fastball, your cutter, your slide, like every single pitch you have, you want it to come out of the same arm slot, and then you want it to look like it's coming in the same tunnel. And then off of that tunnel, you'll have your four-seam fastball that rises in the zone. You'll have your cutter that goes down and in, and then your slider that really swoops across, and then the splitty that kind of comes down and in. But you want all of them to come out of the same tunnel and then split. You know what I mean? And have those. So a hitter's thinking, okay, this is a fastball, and then right at the end, no, it's a cutter. So you want it to all come out of the same tunnel. And that's really what we've been working on. And the curveball was just not coming out of the same tunnel. You could see it pop out of the hand, and it would go above the tunnel and then over the tunnel. So guys would see it and be like, I'm spitting on it. That's not a fastball. That's not his cutter. So guys would see that out of the hand, and they would see it kind of pop up out of the tunnel and then back over the tunnel. But the slider goes into the same tunnel as the fastball and the cutter, and then just right at the end, slides off of that. So yeah, what I've been really working on is tunneling and getting all my pitches to look the same until the end.
Yeah, because the least amount of pitch selection the batter has available to him, the better odds are for you to sit there and strike him out. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The more I can keep the hitter guessing, like what's coming, like, is he going to throw a fastball? Is it a slider? Is it a cutter? The more I can keep the hitter guessing, the more success I'm going to have.
So you said that you've been working on a split finger too. So, most relievers rely on 2 solid pitches, an okay third, and they're always working on the 4th one. So what would make you, different if, say, you had 3 solid pitches and then a pretty good, 4th pitch coming out of, for a bullpen option?
Yeah. So I would say that's definitely my go-to. Because like you said, most guys have like 1 or 2 really good pitches that they rely on, and then guys occasionally throw like a slider here and there, maybe the splitter here and there, just to keep the hitter guessing a little bit. But what I've been doing this offseason as well is getting comfortable with like, hey, it's 0-0, like new batter in the box. I'm going to throw a splitty right at you right away. I'm going to throw a slider right at you right away. So I've been really working on not having like, my fastball is the most dominant thing I have. I'm going to throw that 60% of the time, because as soon as you start getting reliable in what you're throwing, guys are like, so it's a 1-1 count. He's going to go fastball because that's always what he throws in a 1-1 count. I want to keep the hitter guessing as much as possible. I'm probably going to come out throwing slider 0-0, splitter 0-0, throwing a slider 2-0. Like you never know. So you got to always keep the hitter guessing.
Yeah. One thing I've always I love Pedro, and then working with Bayo. I see Bayo doing the same thing now, where first time through the order he might be heavy on one pitch, like for instance a fastball. And then, what if that's dominating, and then all of a sudden the second time they start getting a piece of it, then all of a sudden that's when he brings out a changeup, and it throws them off because they don't know when he's actually going to throw it. First time around, say, he throws 65-70% fastball, all of a sudden, bam, he hits you with the changeup the next time around, and it keeps the batter unbalanced, throughout this whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
George?
Yeah. Talking about off seasons again, you keep in touch with any of the guys? Do you guys compare notes and things like that where you are in your development? And second is what does the club do in terms of keeping tabs on you during the off season?
So keeping up with guys, I'm constantly talking to guys, and I had Brendan Chalucci, if you guys know him. Brendan Chalucci reached out to me, and he's like, dude, can you send me a video of how you throw, like your mechanics? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So I sent him over a video, and what he was doing was really working on like his connection and timing. So like when my leg came up, is when I separated. As soon as my legs started dropping down into the zone is when I would disconnect my arm and get ready to throw. And he was working on timing and how I use my timing, and maybe that could help him out. So I sent him over a video of my mechanics, and he used that to help his mechanics. So we're constantly going back and forth like, hey, dude, I think you should try and do this. Like, this might help you. And if it doesn't, hey, no big deal. I'm just trying to look out for you. All the guys are constantly throwing ideas off each other. Like, hey, Theo, what do you think about if I hold my slider like a little bit off to the side, or like maybe more down on the horseshoe? And so, yeah, we're constantly like, hey, what do you think about this? How do you do this? And then honestly, it's also just your boys. So you're just like, dude, how you been? Like, what's been up? And so it's always good to keep in contact with the guys. Like, hey, how you doing? Not just the baseball aspect and side of things, but it's just like, dude, how are you as a person? Like, how you doing? Like, how's your family? So yeah, I constantly keep in touch with the guys on the team, just, to let them know that I'm caring about them. I'm thinking about them, just trying to, spread the love, and they do the same thing back to me, which is incredible. And it keeps you going, because there's sometimes, especially during the season, you got a long season. So you need some love. You need some love on you. Like, there's days where you're like, I am the worst baseball player ever. And you got to have those boys come up to you and be like, nah, dude, you got this. You had a bad game. You got to get over it. You got to get past it. So it's always good to have the boys with you, especially in the off season too. Cause everybody's home with their family. They're getting love poured into them by their family. But you still need the boys, because your family doesn't always understand the baseball aspect of it. But your boys on the team, they get the baseball aspect of it. They get that you're a human being outside of baseball too. And that's the biggest thing, is you got to have that blend. And that's exactly what the boys on the team bring you, is that blend of both worlds, being a professional athlete and an everyday human that has stuff going on outside of the field, love, breakups, whatever. And then for your second question with how the team keeps up with me. So they keep up with me. I'm on a Zoom call with my pitching coach about every other week. We get together and he goes, hey, how you doing? Do you have numbers? Like, what do you got to report back to me? How's everything coming along? How's the cutter? And so the team's constantly keeping up with us as well.
Cool. Are you, so when do you, so how soon before you guys do have to report down? Is it next week or the week after?
So I believe mini camp starts on the 19th, and I will be reporting down in Florida the 18th, a day before. And then mini camp gets rolling February 19th. So all the boys will be in town then, and we'll be getting after it.
Excellent.
Well, Theo, at the end of last season, and I was talking, through interviews and, offline and stuff like that, you were down in Double-A, and, you're kind of like, the more experienced, the veteran of the group that was down there. And I heard nothing but great things of how Hunter Dobbins, CT, all was picking your brain, throughout the whole time you were down there. So what is it like, and how does that make you feel, when you go there and all of a sudden, people are looking up to you like, hey, I need your opinion on this or that?
Yeah, it's all about experience. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game in life, and that's the name of the game in baseball and any workspace you're in. It's like, hey, you were in upper management for a few months or a year or whatever, and then came back down. It's like, what did you experience? What did you go through? Like, I want to pick your brain about like just the experience of being there. And I was happy to share everything that happened to me in AAA. I had a great time up there. Loved my time. I was up in AAA for about 3 months, and it was incredible. It was really, really, really fun. And it was also a grind. That's just what baseball is. It's going to be ups and downs, but you got to try and stay right on the midline there and just keep going. And so guys would come up and be like, dude, how was this? How are the facilities? How's the weight room? Like, how are the fans? So it's just, everything kind of combined in one, and all the guys wanted to know about it, hear about it. And I was happy to share my stories of the time I had up there. And it was really cool, expressing that and sharing that with the guys, and being able to, like, dude, like, I can't wait for you to be, to be up there in AAA, us together. So yeah, it was really cool. And I hope, I get my chance in AAA, start with them this season there, and then have the boys in AA or wherever on the team come with me, because I would love for all the guys in AA and all the guys in AAA to be there with me, but it's just not enough spots and whatever else. But there's not a single bad thing I can say about any single guy on the team. Not that I ever would anyways, because but I mean, it's just incredible to have that bond with all those guys. And so like I said, I love to have them on any team I'm on.
Yeah, looking at the roster that you guys had at the end of the season for Portland, that thing was stacked. Like, like up and down. Like, you guys were stacked. You had, like, all eyes were on you guys. And then, you sit there and tell us about how you wish you could have the AA and the AAA team. I would not want to be, and I'm not going to speak for George, but I think he's the same as me, would be the guy that have to sit there and say, okay, we're going to send you down to AA because we got to bring this other guy up. And because both teams overall are stacked. Like, like, overall, it's crazy. One guy that and George knows, I like to make a lot of bold predictions, Theo.
Okay.
And we had a question on a Fans Ask the Questions episode of, the catching situation and how, are we happy with it? And I was like, I'm not really happy with the major league, and my bold prediction was that coming out of spring training, Nathan Hickey's going to make that 40-man roster, and he's going to be our third catcher,
Okay, yeah. I mean, Hickey, I had Hickey for most of the summer, and it was he was also my roommate for a little bit. Just an incredible guy. But the thing I really loved about Hickey, like, anybody can call a game. Anybody can be like, hey, fastball, this spot, like, just, hit it, whatever. He didn't just call a game. Like, there was times in big situations where he would throw down the one fastball. It would be like a 1-2 count, and he'd give me like a, come on, let's go. And he'd give you like one of those, like, let's go. And honestly, that fires me up on the mound. I love when a catcher gets like, hey, come on, like, you got this, bro. Like, right here, come on. I love that. So yeah, Hickey's full of emotion, and I can't speak for any other pitcher on the team, but I feed off of that. So if my catcher is like one of those guys, like, there's the picture of me in Worcester where I struck a guy out, saved the game, whatever, and I'm doing the big, like, let's go. Hickey's another one of those guys. He's my catcher, and I'll strike a guy out, and he'll also give me like he'll give me one of those. It's just fires me up. I love guys like that. So yeah, Hickey was one of my favorite catchers, and incredible guy as well. Calls the game really well, knows exactly the type of pitches that I have and what my strengths are with those pitches in certain counts, and he just knows the game inside and out. And then whenever we would break down video on other hitters, throughout the week, he would constantly be the one talking up, and like the pitching coach would be sitting there like, hey, this righty, he really loves fastballs up and away, so let's go fastballs up and in. And the pitching coach would get done talking, and then Hickey would be like, hey, also, I kind of noticed from just watching film and, playing against this guy that he also struggles with sliders outside. Like, he likes to chase the slider outside. And so the pitching coach would be like, okay, good input. So Hickey's always constantly watching the game, adapting and figuring it out. So he was incredible guy. So I think your bold prediction isn't that bold, and I think it's a good prediction.
He's watching him from the stands. I live about half an hour from Hadlock, and watching him in the stands, he's a total take charge guy, and and he's just you can see the emotion that runs through him. and it's somewhat infectious because you see him at the plate, and he's disciplined. Next thing you know, the ball's leaving the yard, and then next half inning he's behind and he's pushing his pitches to do better. He just has that presence about him.
Yeah. He's constantly giving good word and good praise to guys. Like, I know after I had, like my first inning, and then you're up for your second up. I'm right there at the top of the stairs, like ready to go out. And I always try and wait for my catcher to get ready or whatever. And we go out there, and he gave me a fist bump, and he's like, dude, he goes, you're dominant, be in the zone, get your stuff. Like, he's constantly just giving you praise. Even like if you're down, if you're up, it doesn't matter. He's constantly like, dude, you got this, let's go. And so I love a catcher like that. And Nathan Hickey is one of the best, and he's just a really good guy. Like I said, he was also my roommate for a little bit there too. So he's just a good guy on the field, off the field. I mean, he's just the same. So and honestly, most of the Red Sox guys they're the same dude on the field that they are off the field, and that's really really incredible to see, because you'll have some guys that on the field they're really cool, awesome, whatever, signing balls, and then off the field they're a little bit like a recluse. They kind of just want to do their own thing. But all the Boston guys are just completely like, hey, what are you doing after the game? Like, want to come hang out? And like want to come watch a movie, whatever. So it's just it's honestly, it's incredible. And being a White Sox guy traded over, I thought I was going to be like one of the guys on the outside, I'm one of the outsiders. They already got their cliques, their groups, like there is in baseball. And no, like Hickey's so it's usually there's usually cliques, and it's usually pitchers versus non-pitcher guys, and they have cliques and they hang out off the field. With the Red Sox, it's completely there's no cliques. Everybody is always together at one time. And I know the report time for coming to the field is usually like noon, and guys would be getting there at 10 just to hang out. Literally, everybody would get there at 10 just to play cards, hang out, talk. So it's really something special. It's incredible to be on this team and to experience firsthand.
Yeah, as soon as Caleb Hamilton, was not on the team anymore, that's where my mind automatically went. I'm like, okay, because Caleb got to come up last year, and catch a couple of games. I'm like, well, who's next then? And everybody that I've talked to, and I want to say the average Red Sox fan automatically wants to Kyle Teal. You can't. In my opinion, you can't push him yet. Like, let him develop. Let him keep doing what he's doing. But before him, you have Nathan Hickey, and that's not no knock to the veteran Perez that the Red Sox have signed in the offseason. Yeah. But Hickey is a complete player, because everything you said on the catching aspect, he's got the same thing when he's hitting. He's got some power. Yeah. He's got some pop, and he's got that fire. I've talked to CT, Hunter Dobbins, Hoppy, all of them sit there and said how much of a great guy that Nathan Hickey is, how a complete player he is. And I see all his qualities that you mentioned. Last time I seen a catcher that, kind of puts all that extra was Varitek for the Red Sox. And I'm not saying that Hickey's the next Jason Varitek, but he has the same qualities where he's willing to do the extra homework to make sure that you guys, the pitching staff, is more comfortable. Yeah. And if he can get you guys more comfortable and he can fire you up when you need it, then you got that extra 2-3 miles per hour that you could sit there and throw your fastball, because now you got that adrenaline going.
Yeah, exactly.
So spring training's coming up there, Theo. And it is. The way you are looking right now, you're probably like, I can use a little warm weather here coming up here off and on.
Yeah, so, I don't know if you guys can see my breath.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's a little chilly in the shop today. But yeah, there's that's just Wisconsin weather for you. But my nickname doesn't lie. I love the cold. I love being a Viking up here in Wisconsin. So I love the cold, but I can always do with heat too.
Mm-hmm. Theo, okay, they call you the Viking, so I'm going to sit there and put a little challenge out there for you. Okay.
Okay.
I'm challenging you with the long flowing hair.
Yeah.
Let's get that beard coming in.
I'm trying, but as soon as I start to get the beard going, it mostly grows sideways. It doesn't grow down. So honestly, whenever I try and get the beard grown a little long, it kind of looks like an Amish beard. And I'm not really loving the Amish beard. Nothing against Amish people. I'm just saying it doesn't look good on me. Yeah, I've tried growing it out, and I've tried using like beard balm and like kind of shaping it. But it's just I'm working on it. I am working on it.
Oh, Rich, you got any tips for him?
Yeah,
you got the ZZ Top thing going there.
Always trim down the sides, because I got the same problem as you. It wants to go out.
Yeah,
and I don't. Yeah. So trim down the side. Find a nice on your trimmer. Find a nice little level that you want to go down. I usually use like a 3 or 4 to go down just to here, and then just keep letting this grow. Always oil. I go and use beardstruggle.com. That's a free plug for you guys. Beardstruggle.com. You have your morning oils, your night oils, 2 separate ones. You got your beard balm, and always brush constantly.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah. I can get after it. Yeah, for sure.
But by the time I see you the second time in Scranton this year, because you will be in AAA, unless you're in the majors. If you're in the majors, I got no problem.
Yeah. Same.
I want you guys to sit there and you and I to be able to compare our beards, and before the game talk a little bit. But that's the challenge I'm giving for you.
Okay. Yeah. I could definitely do that. Yeah.
And if you want in return, you grow the beard, I'll grow my hair.
Perfect. That's all I want. There we go. Challenge accepted.
You're probably 100% going to win this one. But Theo, people want to talk baseball a lot, but I want to sit there and talk, a lot of other stuff with you. But before we switch gears, I seen on your Instagram you had a little BP with somebody who thought he thought he could sit there and hit off you. So what was that all about, and how was that all about?
So DR hitting, Drew Richard. He has been my best friend since we were toddlers, pretty much. Drew Richard grew up in Cuba City area. Probably like 5 minutes away from me, kind of in the back country a little bit too. But I was constantly going over to his house when we were kids, and then obviously we grew up together, middle school, high school, and so we've always had a strong bond there. And I actually will give him credit, because I would always just pick up the baseball in high school and just throw it however I picked it up, like it was just whatever. And then I would pick it up and be like, curveball. Yeah, I'll just move my hand like I see guys do and just get over the top of it. And he actually sat me down one day in 8th grade or maybe freshman year of high school, and he's like, "Hey man, like what do you throw out there?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know, it's just a fastball." And I just picked it up with all my fingers, and I would just throw it. And he's like, "No," he goes, "You got to use 2 fingers on top, and like you got to move the seams." And he goes, "This is a 4-seam fastball." And so I started throwing that in high school. I did pretty good in high school. I had I don't even know how many hitters, and then I had 2 perfect games in my high school career on varsity. And so I give him credit for teaching me how to pitch in high school, because we didn't really have a coach. We didn't really have any instruction. I went to a high school that had a total student population was around 200 kids, and I graduated with a class of around 40 something. Probably like mid 40s, like 46 kids were in my graduating class at my high school. But yeah, so Drew Richard, me and him go way back, and we've loved baseball from the very beginning. We'd always play catch in his backyard, and but yeah, so yeah, I recently faced him, and I don't know if you guys know, he's pretty popular on TikTok and Instagram. And I think he has close to like 100,000 followers, or 80,000 followers, or 90,000, whatever it is, on Instagram, TikTok. And so he teaches kids how to hit, and he really has really taught himself as well how to hit. But yeah, I faced him the day of his wedding. So I don't want to say anything against him, but I did take a little velo off because I didn't want to hit him the day of his wedding. And I was also a groomsman in his wedding, so I wasn't throwing as hard as I possibly could. And also, it doesn't show in that video, but I did. So I got him. I think it was like 1-2 or 2-2 or something. And I remember I got really cocky, and I gave him one of these. I was like, "Yeah, hey, fastball, it's coming right by you." And he ended up making contact with it. And yeah, it looks like, from the way he celebrated, it looks like it was a grand slam, walk off, whatever. But it actually, I think it hopped 3 or 4 times before it hit the net behind me. So. But yeah, so me and Drew go way back. We've been best friends ever since I can remember. But yeah, that's kind of what that was.
Yeah, I love watching videos like that, where everybody's gonna have an ego. Oh, I can take you deep. I definitely love videos when because when I was in high school, I dated a girl who played softball.
Okay.
And the baseball team, all the time, they always used to say, "We could take you deep." And I'm like, I wouldn't. Like,
it's a different animal. It's a completely different animal.
It's a different angle that it's coming in at. You're not, they're making the ball and she would strike them out left and right.
Oh yeah.
And
I can believe it.
Like, she asked me, she goes, "You want to get in there?" I said, "No, I'm not dumb." I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not dumb. Like, you will strike me out because I'm used to the ball up here coming down, and you're bringing it down here, and it could go up. I'm like, no, we don't play like that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's always about perspective, and you never truly know until you step in the box against a softball pitcher or a baseball pitcher or whatever. But it's a completely different animal, and it's just a different way the ball moves. And they actually have a rising ball. Like, obviously 4-seam fastballs, it has the perceived vert of, like, it looks like it's actually rising. Physically, it is not rising. But with softballs, they physically, because they're coming up and under, so they can physically make the ball literally rise at you. So it's just completely different. But yeah, so I'm not even surprised. I've seen countless TikToks and YouTube videos of guys facing softball players and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna crush this softball." Like, the softball is 2 to 3 times bigger than the baseball. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're also, half the distance pitching, and also the ball moves completely different. Yeah, so I'm not even surprised by that.
Yeah, I remember playing in my church softball league years ago, and the church, they had so many people want to play, so they split into 2 teams. The A team and then the B team, and we had to play the A team, and the pitcher was the pastor.
Oh,
so
wow.
First things first, I'm like, dude, I don't want. And they're like, "Oh, you're batting leadoff." Oh, thanks. And because I seen him pitch before, and the things he would do with the ball, like, I'm like, this is just embarrassing for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and his pitch, like you mentioned, was the riser.
Yeah.
Like, and it would come up, and I'm like, dude, I was patient. The bat never left my shoulder, and I was able to get a walk. Like, I'll take that as a win there.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but Theo, another thing I love watching on your Instagram stories, which of course we're gonna throw it up there one more time. Anytime you want to check out his stuff, is the nature, the hunting stuff, the tracks. I even tried to cheat by yesterday, the contest you put up there on animal tracks. George, he sit there and put up on Instagram a track, and he's like, what was it, $20-$25 if someone can guess what kind of track this was. I'm like, dude, I'll take it. Tried to skim, couldn't find anything that looked like that. So I'm like, man. So, but is that what you do to kind of get one back in with nature and just calm yourself pretty much?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm always in nature, especially when I come home. I could take you guys out and show you my backyard, but my backyard is the Mississippi River. So when I took that picture yesterday on my Instagram of that track, it was actually on the river, and so that was out on the river on the ice. And then that's also where the other Instagram photos were and videos is I just took my pup Kobe out on the ice, and we were just out there walking around, having him run around and everything. So that was really cool. But yeah, I'm constantly in nature, just walking around or hunting or trapping, fishing, doing whatever. And that was my life since I could walk. And so that's also part of the reason why I got into blacksmithing, was because I've been around hunting, trapping, fishing, just outdoor sports since I can remember. Since I could walk, I probably had a knife in my hand filleting fish, and that's thanks to my mom and dad. And my dad is actually right behind the camera with me, because anytime I am in this shop, my father is in this shop with me, and he is the backbone behind everything I do, behind every single one of these projects. He also has his hand in making it, and he is actually my go-to sharpener. I don't even sharpen any of the blades I make. That's just all on my dad. And so it's really, really great being able to do this with him just constantly in the off season, and to have him be part of this with me. And I think we started this about 9 or 10 years ago, and we've been doing it ever since. But I don't think there's been a single time where I've been in this shop working on a project and he hasn't been here with me. And then just being out in nature, and I just love every part of it. And that's kind of why I got the nickname the Viking, was because obviously, one, the blacksmithing, a little bit of the luck, but then just constantly being in nature and loving animals and being out there. But another thing I do during the season to get out in nature is either one, I just go walk. I go find like a park or a wooded area, and I'll literally just drop everything I'm doing, take my wife and my dog, and just go walk in the woods. And that's truly my home away from home, is just the woods. And then, or another thing I'll do is I'll go disc golfing, and that's also in the woods. So yeah, if I'm not any off day that I have, I'm in the woods. I'm outside. I'm somewhere.
George?
No, I think that's great. I think it helps us remember that we love you as baseball players, but you're people as well, and you have your own story. And it's, and like I said, you enjoy being in the outdoors. Everybody has their favorite thing. And I think that's an inspiration to youngsters out there that says, hey, I might like, you said you want to go fishing or go hunting or whatever, but I love to play baseball. As you get to be an adult, in your case, you can do both. And, exactly. That's the cool thing about it. So yeah, and I think it also, it helps to have other interests as well, because eventually, we all stop throwing baseballs.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that can always ground me. And it's also something that is always somewhere. Like you can't I might have to drive like when I'm in Worcester or wherever I am, Portland. I might have to drive out of the city, but you will always be able to find nature pretty much wherever you are. You might have to drive like 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is, but I will easily do that to go be at home and at peace in the woods. So yeah, you can, if you ever need me on an off day, I probably won't be able to get to you because usually I have my phone turned off in my pocket, in my backpack, or I just leave it in the truck, and I'm in the woods. So yeah.
Theo, we have a quick question from one of our co-hosts on the Pesky Party Hour, Mike Carissa, who's also a former Red Sox pitcher. He wants to know if you have worked on command this winter and trying to get in the mindset of getting ahead, and when does he put them away?
Yeah. So I've really worked on command as well, and trying to. So I told you I was working on the cutter, slider, and then the splitty as well. But I've also been really working on like, hey, I'm gonna get ahead. I'm gonna get you 0-1, 0-2, whatever it is. So I have the upper hand, and you always want the upper hand as a pitcher. But yeah, I've really worked on honing in my fastball as well, and working on my mechanics on how I can have, like I was talking about before with Chooch, is like, hey, when my leg comes up and then goes down and I disconnect, I've really been working on that and finding my rhythm, my tempo, what works for me, and what gives me the best chance to put the ball in the zone.
Yeah, and Mike's follow-up question, which I'm pretty sure you talked about extensively earlier, being a big kid, has he worked on repeating his delivery?
Yeah, yep, exactly. And that's pretty much the name of the game in baseball is, hey, are you able to repeat the process that you just did? Like, hey, I'm going to go a fastball up and in. Okay, cool. Then when you want to throw a fastball up and out or, low, wherever you want it, it's all about just messing with that little split second of timing and maybe getting your arm out ahead just a little bit. But most all the time, you're just trying to repeat the process and you're trying to get that muscle memory that we talk about in the game. And so that's huge, is just being able to repeat the process, repeat what you do with your body almost every single time. And that's the same thing with what I was talking about before, which is tunneling, because you don't want you don't want a high leg kick and then be a fastball, and then you don't want like a short leg kick and it be a curveball. So you want all your pitches to look the exact same when they come out of the hand, and your mechanics as well. So yeah, that was a great question, and that's constantly what us pitchers are working on.
Yeah, but Mike said once the leg reaches its height, the hand should start to break.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. And exactly what I've been working on, what Chooch has been working on, and pretty much any pitcher is working on at all times, is just finding that rhythm, that tempo that works for them.
So Theo, I know one thing that you're branding yourself, and everything is a brand, and I love it with you. Is all off of the Viking. You have your tee out there also.
Thank you for talking about that.
So please tell everybody like who reached out to who, and tell everybody about your brand of tea.
Yeah, so I work with a company, and I'm the ambassador and spokesperson for Valhalla Tea Company, and you can find them on Instagram as well at Valhalla Tea. I think it's at Valhalla Tea Company, and they have the best tea I've ever had, honestly. And I'm not even saying that just because I'm an ambassador. So I actually reached out to them, and I was like, hey, I play professional baseball, but all I wanted at first was I love tea. I wake up almost every morning and try and get a glass of tea in, a cup of tea, just because one, it's just nature that you boil down and you drink, and the Vikings are huge on tea, and that's what they drank back in the day. So I love that, but I also just love the taste. There's nothing against coffee, but I just love love the taste of, that lavender, that cinnamon. And it's just, completely all natural flavors. Like nowadays with Starbucks and Dunkin' and whatever else, you just get that milk tea, that milk coffee, or like syrup coffee. And it's just not, not exactly what I'm going for. But I started drinking tea back in the day, and I've loved it. And so, yeah, I reached out to them first, and I was like, hey, like, is there any way that, you could give me a sample bag that I can try, and maybe I'll post it, whatever. And they're like, how about we do one better? And how about you become our ambassador and our spokesperson? And I was like, I'm in, I'm sold. And so they gave me a sample bag, and I tried some of their tea, and it's all loose leaf tea. So most of the time you get like a little tea bag, you throw it away, whatever. And then there's like that little bit of trash, but theirs is completely all loose leaf. All natural, no added flavors, no added anything. And by far the best tea I've ever had. And then so you guys can get 20% off of valhallatea.com. You guys can get 20% off of the entire store and the entire order that you guys have. And that's the Viking. And that's my code, the Viking. Just enter that code in at checkout. But yeah, they're everything they stand for, and they also give back. So they give back to their veterans as well. And so that's another thing that really caught my eye and piqued my interest, is that, it's all about what we do off the field as well. And it's all about, with a company, it's what do you do outside of just making profit? And that's exactly what they do. So a percentage of their profit and their revenue goes to helping veterans as well. And then they have a little bit of veteran owned in the company, and veterans started. So I love that. I love our vets. I love love the U.S. and giving back. And that's exactly, all their values were matching up with my values. So I was like, this is the perfect company for me.
Exactly. And you didn't bring it up yet, so that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
See, Theo, I do my homework.
Yeah.
So, but before we sit and close it out, I want to sit there and play our YouTube video that we made just for you, so you guys can actually see a little bit of him in the forge and stuff. This the music playing in the background is also his bullpen song that he comes out to, which I actually use and listen to on the regular now. So it's and I get when you said in the first interview that point where you throw the first pitch, bam, like that point, it was all like, now I know why he does it. But here we go. We're gonna be playing, and you can find this video on our YouTube channel. It's called "Forged Through Fire," a Theo Denlinger story.
Perfect.
Blind, I can't seem to tell me what I need to get right. Your eyes, they can't seem to understand what I've realized. This isn't just a dream stuck on a bad repeat, fighting the air to breathe. You can't touch me now. Took me a while to see, it doesn't have to be you winning over me. You can't touch me now. I'm a bad man. Ain't my fault, it's all I got, it's so bad. Broke my broken will and I can't go back. Now you can't change me, cause you make me, I'm a bad man. They see lies all the time and keep me static in a relapse. why. Confined. This isn't just a dream stuck on a bed, repeat, fighting the air to breathe. You can't touch me now. Took me a while to see it doesn't have to be you winning over me. You can't touch me now. I'm a bad man. Ain't my fault, it's all I got. It's so bad, man. Broke my broken wheel and I can't go back. Now I am. You can't change me 'cause you make me a bad man. Ain't my fault, it's all I got, it's so bad, man. Broke my broken wheel and I can't go back. Now you can't change me 'cause you make me, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Man, that was just. I love, and I think overall with you and I think what put the whole shirt together was when you're like, hey, can we put this on the back? And it was your saying.
Yeah,
and I think that's
just an athlete and a hammer forging greatness.
Like, I think that's what put the whole shirt together to bring both sides of you, to the forefront there, Theo.
Yeah, exactly. And that's who I am, and that's what I do. Obviously there's a lot more to me than just that, but I mean, that was what I could think of for just like one sentence that kind of encompasses everything that I am and that I do. Yeah, I'm an athlete, but I also have, I have stuff going on outside of the field, and both my attributes on the field and off the field, in the shop or in the outdoors or wherever I am. That's just me trying to forge greatness wherever I am, wherever I go. That's what I'm trying to do.
Exactly. George, you have any final thoughts or final questions?
No, I'm absolutely thoroughly impressed with what you create, when you're away from the game. I mean, there's some really nice stuff there, and your dedication to your craft. So that's really cool. And the idea that you do want to give off the field as well, and you're working and teaming up with Valhalla T to do what's right and help for veterans. That's incredibly important, and I commend you for that. So
yeah,
thank you. You're a good guy.
So I'm actually giving this knife away to my high school football coach. So he's part of the Lions Club, and so he's going to give this away, and he's going to auction this off for the Lions Club. And what the Lions Club do, they kind of give back and put funds back into the community to either buy, upgrade their parks or whatever they need to upgrade around town to make Cuba City a better area to live. So I'm going to give this away to my football coach from high school, and he's going to auction it off at the local auction here, and hopefully make some money off of that can go back into the community, whether to put up baseball cages at the local park or to just give back and give kids, some of the things I didn't have growing up in the Cuba City area. So I'm constantly trying to give back, whether it is to the veterans or, to my local community or just to kids, and giving baseball lessons or, whatever I can think of. So I'm constantly trying to help out, constantly trying to give back. And honestly, my biggest thing is just, spreading love and happiness wherever I go and whoever I talk to. I really try and stress that. Like, hey, what are you doing to make someone else's day? That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't focus on like, hey, what can I do to make my day better? You should focus on making other people's days better. And honestly, what I've found from doing that is in return, you just have a better sense of, who you are as a person, and you just get happiness from helping other people find happiness. And that's really big for me, is just, spreading love and happiness, and trying to make the world a better place wherever I can, and wherever I go, and whoever I talk to.
Amen.
Yeah, Theo, when I was at Scranton, both times, with the press passes and gotten to talk to you guys, there was 3 people that actually and this isn't against the rest of the team, but me personally getting to talk to them, there was 3 people that were above the rest personally talking, because it wasn't just about baseball. We got to talk, and that was you, Narciso Crook, and Fitzy. And, seeing yesterday some of the videos of what Fitzy meant, to the organization.
Fitzy Day. That was incredible.
Cool.
I personally hope that, he will definitely be, because the Woo Sox are doing their own Hall of Fame. I hope that he is a first ballot Hall of Famer, for them, for not only the stuff on the field, but talking to Joe Bradley and the stuff that he would, do off the field was, just as good as what he did on the field.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so me, Fitzy, and Narciso, we really connected right away, because that's what we're all about. And especially those guys. But yeah, there's other guys on the field wanting to do good, and give back, and do whatever wherever they can. But yeah, like you said, those guys really stand out. And Narciso came up to me like the first day I was in AAA, and he's like, "Hey man, how are you? Like, how you doing? How was your experience in AA? Like, I hope you have a really good experience in AAA. But like, hey man, how you doing? Like, what are you doing? How's travel been? Like, are you tired? Like, do you just need to chill?" And so having him come up to me right away and just kind of accepting me and bringing me into that AAA experience and vibe was awesome.
Yeah, Fitzy was the first person that I actually interviewed while I was there. And it was funny, Narciso is the first person, the player, to talk to me without even me talking to him. Like, you know how you guys come down the bleacher area and then go onto the field. Here's Narciso coming down, and then the last one, he steps on the guardrail to go over, and he stops. He's like, "You think you could do that?" I'm like, "No," because I'm out of shape. All of a sudden, there he was. Yeah, you could. If you think you can do it, you can do it.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, then he went over to do warm-ups, at the batting cage.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the whole time he's doing that, I'm thinking about what he's saying. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. As soon as he's done batting, he comes right back over, and he asks, was you thinking about what I said? I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, can I have a moment every time to talk? He goes, yeah, but you got to do something for me first. And you know exactly what I'm going to say, because he says this to everybody. You do one good deed for someone else, and I'll do your interview.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly the type of guy he is. And I was just like, man, and then you and I, we talked, we sit there and bonded, and I was like, man, like you guys stand out. I talked to other people, other players and stuff, but it seemed you 3 went out of your way above and beyond what, the others, did.
Yeah. And it's all about giving back and helping out. I've already talked in depth about doing that, but it's really, honestly, and being a professional athlete, it just gives you a platform to express yourself and try and have others do the same. Like, hey, what can you do for someone else today? And exactly like what Narciso said, like, hey, I'm gonna help you out. Like, I'm gonna do your podcast, whatever. But I want you to help somebody else out. And that's exactly, like, if the world did that, and like I helped you out by being on your podcast, so you go help somebody else out. If the world did that, I think it would be an incredibly better place. But yeah, I mean, you just gotta spread love, because love spreads a lot better than hate. And, obviously it takes one bad thing to just ruin a person's day, but it could also take one good thing to make that person's day. So why would you want to spread negativity and sadness when you could spread joy and happiness? So that's honestly, anytime I go on a podcast, I love talking about that and like, hey, how can you give back? How can I give back? How can I help you guys? How can you help somebody else? So that's exactly what I want and what I'm trying to share and spread. So yeah, I love that you brought that up and explained that with Narciso and Fitzy, because they do an incredible job, and they have a lot bigger platform than I do right now, at least to do that on. So that was incredible to see, and I love guys like that.
Yeah. So guys, we're gonna be wrapping things up real quick. But before we do, make sure you head right on over. If you want any of his fine merchandise, his buck knives, his battle axe. I'm curious of where that hammer went to. Like who got that hammer, Theo?
Oh, the Warhammer that was in the video?
Yes.
So that was a guy in North Carolina that ordered that. Yeah, so I no longer have that.
Yes.
But yeah, so I did make a hammer of my own, but it's not a Warhammer. Yeah, so this is a hammer. This is the hammer I welded up. So I actually use this a lot with blacksmithing, and then I just welded up the handle there, and then it's actually made out of railroad spikes. So all I did was just twist it and welded up two railroad spikes together there. But yeah, I use this in the shop every day. This isn't even close to the kind of hammer I made for that guy, because that was a Warhammer. But yeah, I no longer have that. I sold that to that guy. But yeah, I got so much stuff going on in the shop. Like I said, I showed you guys all the projects I have going on, and that's just not even a fourth of the projects I've done this off season and that I've been working on and have. So there's always something going on in Denlinger Forge.
So yeah, make sure you go over to Instagram at Denlinger Forge or at Theo Denlinger to sit there and hook up. Go on our website, promo code Viking. No, not to be mistaken, the Viking for his tea on VonHollow.com.
Yeah, and you can also find Valhalla Tea and my promo code on my Instagram page at Theo Denlinger. So if you do want Valhalla Tea, or you just want to check out the website, you can go to my Instagram at Theo Denlinger, and everything will be on my Instagram there.
So, but guys, Theo, thanks for coming on once again. It's been a blast. I can't wait until I get to see you this summer, the spring coming up. Good luck at spring training.
Thank you.
For George, for Theo, and for myself, thanks for stopping by the Pesky Podcast.
Yeah, thanks, guys.